Welcome back to Homeschool Every Child. My name is Arash, proud father, and I want to go into the best way to start teaching your child from, I guess, day 2. So day 1, let them chill when they're born, but day 2 or day 3, day 4, whenever they're back home, this is where I would start with every single child. And I know this might be kind of controversial, like, how could you start teaching your kid at such a young age? That's crazy. The government doesn't allow that. Call CPS. No, that's bullshit.
X minus 3 equals 4.
Okay, so what do you think is the first thing we should do since we've been practicing?
Turn the negative into positive.
Absolutely correct. So how you start is by reading to your child. If you don't know what to say to your child, then start by reading. If you know how to talk to a child the whole day, talk to them every waking minute. Tell them about your beliefs. Tell them about your what you succeeded in. Tell them about your triumphs. Tell them about what you like. Talk to them. If you're like, hey, I've been talking to my kid for 2 hours and I just don't know what else to say, then that's when it goes to the cheat system, which is by reading. So the first book I highly recommend reading to your child is this book right here. It's an oldie but a goodie. It's called Dear Zoo. And the reason it's by Rod Campbell. And the reason this is a great book is because this book is very basic, but it also starts with doing a little pop-up type thing. So it introduces animals, and animals are great to teach kids as well because you want them to learn about animals. But the whole pop-up, the whole reveal makes it exciting and makes them want to open it and makes them want to guess what's there. So we may have read this book over 100, 200 times. And the reason for that is because it's exciting and the child can then be able to predict what is coming. And when a child is able to predict, that is when they're learning. That is when they can say, oh, I know that this line is going to say, he was too scary, I sent him back. It was a snake. But the way that they're predicting it is what's going to help them try to memorize parts. And when they're memorizing, then it's easier for them to learn how to read. This is what I've seen myself. So when he was first reading these by age like 2, 2.5, almost 3, people were like, well, he's just memorizing. He's not actually reading it. And that's totally valid. He probably was memorizing it. But after a while, if you take the word, if you take, for example, was, and you write was on a piece of paper, can he read it? And then he could. So if he's reading these words independently, then that means he has learned it and he can read it. So then put them in different ways. Put I was back. So if you're combining them in different ways, can they read it then? And then that's how you're going to slowly see that if they're reading it, it's not just memorization and they're using that to read other words. So one day we were in the car and I just noticed my son was reading the billboards outside. I was like, what the heck? How did that happen? I thought he was memorizing it. So how is he reading random stuff outside? And then slowly you'll see them, if they have a bookshelf or if they have a box of books, they're going to take the books and they're going to try to read it.
I am invited to a party by Mo Williams.
Perfect. All right.
Gerald! Look, I'm invited to a party.
So in the beginning, it might be memorization, but eventually it's going to progress to reading. And obviously you want to read as many books as you can. And obviously you want to try to sound it out. Those are all correct. I know that's the way we may have learned. Like if you're trying to say grumpy, grumpy. What sound does G make? Gr. What sound does R make? R. Those are the basics that are fundamental that you want to start with. Those are the workbooks, things like that are going to teach you. But aside from that, the whole additional thing is to try to read to them as much as possible. And when you're reading to them, you're spending time with them. They're getting that one-on-one with a parent. If you're 2 parents, each parent should be reading with the mom and dad, not just one. You don't have to read together. I don't think there's a big benefit to that. You can, but at least if each individual person is taking 30 minutes to read, now they're getting 1 hour of reading time each day with parents.
Splash! Hey, this is fun. Wash, washy. I love bubbles. Look at my wrinkly toes. La la la, sinking in the tub. This is the life.
And obviously ask them, what book do you want to read tonight? You want to pick 5 books to read? I know it's hard. You came home from a long day of work. It's hard. But just push yourself to read those 2 books, those 3 books, those 5 books, whatever they can get. And it's going to calm them down and they're going to be able to sleep and they're going to be able to let you rest as well.
Look for the emotionally acorns in this story. They pop up when this swirls have big feelings. the big screen. Guess what? Guess what? Guess what?